Percival Whitmore here. I'm super excited. The Men of Color Self-Care series. I love sharing keys. I want to be able to share something special with you guys. First of all, if you haven't, like, share, subscribe, do the whole nine. Share this with friends. Share this with guys you may know. You're like, dude, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to feel these feelings that you have. And I have been blessed to be able to sit in front of a young man by the name of Ahmad Stunton. He's the CEO of Gentleman Grooming. And I want to share a clip of my experience of being vulnerable and him expressing his brand and why it's okay to be vulnerable.
Sweet dog. Both, man. I'm getting both of them. So I'm getting red.
Said it's okay to fight back sometimes. You know everybody's stoned. I was stoned.
In my hood. Gentleman grooming came about 3 or 4 years ago. And more than it just being a brand, it's gentleman grooming. My slogan is transforming confidence is a way of life for me.
Yeah.
It's been something that I've been learning over the years to learning to love myself and where I am, and being confident about where I am, and being confident about who I am.
Yeah.
And whose I am.
Yeah.
So dope, bro. Like, literally, this guy. Let's talk about being vulnerable. Sometimes people say it's being butt out, lesser terms. Like, it feels like literally that you're in a place by yourself. Some people may feel excluded, but as a man, being vulnerable, society doesn't feel like it's normal. We always have to. Nah, man, all you gonna see is my big pecs and my six pack, and you gonna know that I am a man. But let's take a second back. I kind of refer back to me when I was younger. I was in middle school, I was in high school. I was showing out. I was like, yo, hey, everybody talking and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable enough to really expose who I am, surrounded by a lot of people with different lifestyles and different backgrounds, which is why I'm so grateful for these experiences. But at the end of the day, it's all about your choice. When it comes to being vulnerable, to my guys, to my men, not only with your hands, sometimes you're like, man, I don't want to engage because I don't know. Sometimes people want to bring you into something new. We're talking about new experiences in life. And you're like, hey, maybe you want to go roller skating, or hey, you want to get on a roller coaster, or it's as simple as, hey, do you want to try something new in your life? And you're like, no, this takes me out of my comfort zone, and I don't know. I just don't feel like this is it, And I'm gonna tell you something. One of the greatest things is faith. One of the greatest things is being able to believe in the fact that it could go wrong, but what is my response to something happening that may not affect me, or it may affect me in a way that could either benefit me or not benefit me. Story time. Gotcha. So I remember a particular time and all about during the pandemic. Of course, a lot of people lost their jobs and all this other stuff. And I lost my job. I was in a very comfortable situation where I was well off. I was getting offers from different people in the city of Michigan, in the state of Michigan, and then COVID hit, it knocked on everyone's door. And if you were ready, you were ready. And if you weren't, you weren't. So turns out that I was in my premature state of having a job and everything and getting education and being in college, they let me go. I constantly reached out. I constantly took my time to try and reach out to them, but it didn't work. So now I'm in a state where, Percy, what in the world are we gonna do? You got your car note, you got all these different things going on, and granted, I really didn't know who Percy was before this job. You know, I was playing a bit of the puppet. I was playing a bit of a puppet. And when you say Percy, what do you mean a puppet? So I was very articulate, especially probably if you don't know, you can probably hear it in my mouth. I'm not some type of person who doesn't take speaking or presentations lightly. So a lot of people had their hands on me, specific individuals who saw my potential and yet didn't expose me or gave me the realization that, hey, Percy, you're good. That's the odd thing about it. When you're good at something, people wouldn't tell me. Well, if I was good at something, someone wouldn't tell me I'm good. They'll just give me stuff. So be aware of that. But, just a little side note. Be aware of people who don't tell you that you're good, but they just give you stuff. Because that's to keep your mouth shut and for you to not pay attention to the real value that's inside of you. So continuing on with my story, like I said, COVID hit, lost my job. So I realized that I did have a deep passion about Share the Keys. And of course, I'm not going to go along with Share the Keys and how I got my program, but that was one of the main reasons why I got my program. I questioned a lot of things during this time of vulnerability. And I tell you what, the more vulnerable and more exposed I got, the more, how can I put this? The more angry I got. Dude, I did everything my parents said. I did everything everyone told me to do. But why didn't it work for me? Why isn't this working for me? And so, long story short, turns out, of course, y'all know I'm a man of faith. So I prayed a lot. I prayed. And in that moment, it was actually silent. Don't forget, still got bills. Don't forget, still have these things going on. But something's not happening. So what else can you do, young man? What else, sir, can you do? What else, bro? What else, fam, can you do to be able to say or defy the odds? When there's a system and where there's a literal taping, literal cages that have been created so that you can't succeed. What if I told you that even when you exceed or when you get past that being from the hood or being out of the hood or being out of the ghetto or getting away from your environment, there's still another level. Yet again, there's another plateau that you have to develop out of. You have to grow out of. You are growing out of something, and all in all, you need to get used to being vulnerable. A little quick story I just gave you has just been a snippet of what in the world just happened to me, and why am I, as people say, booty out, butt out, body out. Got a girlfriend. I can't take her on dates. Christmas is coming up. What are we gonna do? I don't have a family of my own, but I do have family, and I want to be able to give. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to take trips. I want to be able to show up as people say in the world, like as a man should. A man should always be able to provide. That's what they say. A man should never miss. But what happens when I miss and everyone else can see it? That's the most embarrassing thing. A lot of us hide it, and a lot of us run away from embarrassment. But I tell you what, I didn't become who I am, and I'm becoming by being afraid, by being exposed. When you live outside of your comfort zone, you don't become numb to the feeling. you address that feeling, man. So the next time you go out, or the next time they ask you to speak, the next time they ask you to sing, the next time they ask you to rap, to present, to do something, the next time they ask you to perform, go out there in the utmost confidence you got. Go out there. It doesn't matter what they say, It's about you now. Because guess what? Somebody told me, a matter of fact, it was a teacher that told me at my school. She said, Percy, it's nobody else's fault but yours. Now, she could have meant something by that. I don't know. I'm always so quick to say, but anyways, it's the fact that I had to take the responsibility that, Percy, when everyone else subsides, after every event, after every occasion, after every go home, that drive home, that hour drive, you got to realize that it is just you. The greatest voice that you'll ever hear is your own. So what are you saying to yourself? What are you speaking into yourself? And so, as always, I end off in this first episode, and I want to end off every time with an affirmation to give to y'all, about being vulnerable. And this is what really helped me coming out of a vulnerable state, because guess what? It's every day that you become great. It's not you do this and you're done. No. Don't get that confused. Every day is an opportunity, which means every day is a chance for you to become vulnerable. So right now, I want you to, wherever you are, you might be at work, you might be on your lunch break, you might be in your car. It might seem a little bit silly. I'm going to actually ask you to be vulnerable. We're doing this together. I'm in my room, and I'm being vulnerable with you. This is us. This is you. And I want you to say, I am gifted to, say that. Come on. I am gifted to endure. Percy, what does that mean? Gifted to endure. That there's something so great inside of you. That there is a mentality, that there is a unique skill set, there's a unique gifting that you have that no one else can take away. And be vulnerable. Embrace being uncomfortable. Because these are the next steps of the making of who you are. It's okay. It's okay that you may not be where other people are. That's okay. Because I feel like, in all honesty, being vulnerable is when you separate from the pack. Being vulnerable is when you're not common, but uncommon. Being vulnerable is when everybody else is running in one direction and you stand and face another. So I'll ask you this. Will you be vulnerable? You're going to be vulnerable today? And I encourage you to be vulnerable, because vulnerable is where you find you. Y'all be smooth, man. Share the keys. You are gifted to endure.
Said it's okay to fight back sometimes. You know every money stone. No, it's only, yeah. You let them tears run out. I don't know you wanna. Yeah. Trying to show the ones coming up, it's okay to fall. It's written in the